The first set with the ball, they scored a try, and then they just sort of rolled through their array of breaking wherever they wanted. It was a bit easier with a man less, of course, but then they clearly put the queue on the rack because they had an extra man for the last 10 minutes and didn't score any tries. And in fact, Warrington won that period. But yeah, it's pretty. It seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it?
It is. There's not a great deal to say.
I listened to it on the radio and it sounded pretty straightforward.
Castleford in home win, shocker. There's nothing more to see here. Warrington, I'd rather talk about Warrington really, because Castleford, there's nothing really particularly surprising about their performance or the manner of their victory. But Warrington, the downturn in their fortunes compared to being grand finalists in October to staring very seriously down the barrel of a place in the middle eights. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they were in that middle eights group. Are they in danger of being relegated now?
Well, one of them or Wigan, you almost feel will have to be in the bottom four the way it is.
I think it's more likely to be Warrington.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, the 4 points behind Wigan
than your lot, but it's not great. And the thing that worries me now is that talismanic players and people who are generally quite well disciplined, like Chris Hill, are starting to lose their rag. So again, there's the frustration.
Rag. I think it was just about it.
Just frustration kicking in. I think Chris Hill's old enough and wily enough to know that to be skirting the line. And I think you put a shot on Luke Gale.
I tell you what, he's not going to be playing next week.
Nope.
Doesn't look like, unless he can contest the charge. Anyway, I've not seen the footage of the incident, but it's a one-game ban on his EGP, isn't it?
I'd say he has enough. From seeing the tackle, I'd say he has enough time to not. Luke Gale has got the kick away clearly.
Well, it's been charged for it on the basis of a shoulder charge, a reckless challenge. So
it's not. Look, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen on a rugby pitch, but Chris Hill is better than that. Is I think the point I'm trying to make. I think I admire him less for that, to be honest with you, because he's someone that we speak very, very highly of, and he's the barometer really, because Mr. Professional, Mr. Warrington, Mr. makes 150 metres a week. His performances are hitting a downturn relatively to what we're used to from him, and if he's starting to lose his rag, I think that's an indicator of something pretty seriously afoot at Warrington, personally. What do you reckon? Am I going off on a tangent, or...?
I think it's a good question to ask. I mean, at 4-0 down, I don't necessarily think it was losing his rag. I think they were targeting Gale to try and take him out of the game, and they just fell the wrong side of doing it legitimately.
Perhaps. Okay, what did the stats tell us then? Did Warrington win anything?
19 more tackle busts, 9 more clean breaks, 6 more successful offloads, almost a metre per carry better average gain, and 432 more metres in total. Cats were rampant and maybe could have won by even more if it wasn't for finishing on fairly high 15 errors to Wire's 11. So they won the error count for one of the first times this season.
There you are. So, not all bad for Warrington. Individually, who stood out for us?
Well, Greg Eden, who we probably haven't focused enough on, even though we talked about him quite a bit before. 5 tries, 7 tackle busts, 146 metres, 4 clean breaks. 5 tries.
He's just doing what I expected of him, mate.
Doesn't happen often, does it?
Vinacolo-esque performance. Not quite record equaling, but phenomenal.
Well, the record's 10 tries in a game, isn't it?
I thought it was 6 in Super League.
Super League.
Well, that's when
history didn't begin at Super League.
No, you're right. Okay, so it's 10. I presume it's a Wigan player.
No, what's his face? Martin Fine scored 10 in the game against Leeds once, didn't he? Mike McMeekan, 1 try. One try assist,
professional team.
7 tackle busts, 106 metres. Greg Minikin, a try, 195 metres, 2 clean breaks. Ben Roberts, 11 tackle busts, 165 metres, 3 clean breaks. And Andy Lynch, there was other people who actually got a few more metres than Andy Lynch, but on his 500th game,
not bad for an old man, is it?
His 101 metres deserved a special singling out mention in the stats roundup of SLP.
Anybody do anything special for Warrington?
Well, Chris Hill, despite his indiscipline, still racked up 113 metres. Darryl Clark, 111 metres at over 10 metres a carry again. For him, Ashton Sims 106 metres and Andre Savelio 114 metres, trying to show something in this late season burst. Got squeaked his way back onto the bench, didn't he? Had to come in to the side earlier than probably anticipated with the injury to Matty Blythe very early doors. And Yeah.
But you know what? Actually, this stats roundup from Warrington says everything I need to know about their season because it's just meters made. There's no tackle busts, there's no try assists, there's no try scored. There's none of the, no clean breaks. It is just literally their top stats are for running meters from forwards. So
around the ruck, yeah.
Exactly. So that tells you that's a snapshot of what's going on for Warrington. For me, right, that's the final game of the weekend. What does all that do to the standings in Super League, Mark?
Well, the main changes in the table see Hull overtake Wakefield into the top 4 and Huddersfield overtake Catalan into the top 8. Saints also overtake Wigan in mid-table and Leigh are off the bottom with Widnes falling back to 12th. Cass hold a 6-point lead at the top now with Salford and Leeds officially securing the top 8.
There we go. So
round 18 also saw the most tries, Tom, in a round so far this year, just shy of 10 per game on average, with 59 tries scored over the weekend.
Value for
15
money.
15 of those at the LSV on Thursday night.
There you go. Excellent. Okay, so what does all that mean in terms of our predictions, comp, and Super Brew standings and dream teams?
It means the comeback is on, Tom.
It really is, isn't it? Look at that. I was shite this week.
3 out of 6 for me, 2 out of 6 for you. That means it's 71 to your 80 overall. But the comeback is starting now.
Just toying with you. This is like my little lull.
In Super Brew, Leigh Whitnell appears to have retained his yellow caps. Well done to Leigh. And Dr. Bob retains his healthy lead at the top, about a 5-point lead overall.
That's a big lead.
At this stage, it's pretty serious stuff. That dream team, Stephen Bowie's tour de force continues. Another week at the top and another best scorer in the league this weekend. So,
doing well there, Stephen.
Yeah, shut the gate, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think well done there. Absolutely. Okay, that is Super League. Well and truly covered. Let's take a look at some results from elsewhere in the world of rugby league. Okay, so 2 results from elsewhere in Rugby League then. It was round 17 of the Championship, our second tier this weekend, and Toulouse were 56-16 winners over the Rochdale Hornets. Bradford Bulls capitulated yet again, going down 12 points to 36 against Featherstone Rovers.
The RAB podcast got in touch and said, another disappointing afternoon for the Bulls. Bradford started well and matched the Rovers during the first 40 minutes. Featherstone turned on the style in the second half to blow away a patched-up Bulls outfit. Relegation inevitable, it would seem. One positive, great to see so many young amateur clubs playing at half-time. I'm sure Huddersfield are tapping up these Bradford youngsters as we speak.
Yeah, proud to be. Proud to be a Huddersfield feeder club.
Wasn't it 12-10 at half-time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then what happened?
Yeah.
I've just lost all enthusiasm from. I know it's not particularly great fandom of me, but it just doesn't seem like anything. There's just not a lot of noise coming out of the club in terms of the owners, and in terms of turning things around, and in terms of Tuvi's continued visa dramas. And
he ain't coming.
Well, he's there every bloody week, Mark. He's going back for a bit now to Australia for an holiday or something, but he's at the ground every bloody week.
It's not happening.
They have him in the bloody bar. They have him in bar.
Well,
it's just too late now. Poor old Leigh Beattie, who is essentially the kit man, gets trotted out in front of everybody and given all the pelters and the abuse. He's working his cock off. Fair play to the guy, and fair play to the young kids, but there's just not enough.
Where's Bentley going to be next season?
Fucking not at Odsal, mate. I tell you that much. He's a good player, isn't he?
No, is there any word on where he's going to be next season?
I don't know off the top of my head, but right. he's him, Ethan Ryan as well. He's another one who'll have no trouble finding gainful employment elsewhere.
Roach will be back at another Championship club easy, won't he?
So, yeah, definitely so. Moving on from that shower of shite, though, London Broncos were 52 points to 8 winners over Dewsbury. Oldham lost narrowly at home to league leaders Hull KR, 24 points to 32. Sheffield did not lose narrowly, 0-54 against the Halifax Blue Sox. And Batley went away to Swinton and got a 26-12 victory.
Yeah, Halifax.
Blowing away the Eagles.
Yeah, I can't think of another scoreline Halifax have had like this year, really, where they've really dominated, and they won it in the first half an hour. Similar to London against Dewsbury, that was over by half time as well. A few games blew out early doors, and good scoreline.
So what does that do to the standings in the Championship then?
Well, it's basically as you were in the Championship table. So to remind everyone, it's Hull KR from Toulouse and London, then Fev with a 3-point gap to Halifax. Sheffield and Batley are not threatening the middle eights, but will be safe from the bottom two now. Rochdale, Oldham and Swinton are in reach for Dewsbury, but Bradford stay bottom on -2.
It was round 10 of League One play, and the London Scholars were 31 points to 18 winners over the Oxford Blues.
Yeah, we picked this one as our game of the week, and Dr. Hideous said the first half was described afterwards in the bar by a Scholars player as a bit shit, but was fun to watch with tit-for-tat tries throughout. In the second half, the Scholars pulled away due to better fitness and fewer injuries, despite playing into a strong win that Oxford took advantage of on their restarts. The Caveman Brewery bar at the back of the stand was good as usual until it ran out of beer. Catastrophe!
It sounds like a catastrophe. Tim G Radio, our friend Tim Griffin, said, if the sun hadn't been shining and or I hadn't bumped into Dr. Hideous, this might have been a bad afternoon. Didn't ask for a picture. You wouldn't have got one anyway, Tim. You'd have got a picture.
Tim could have taken it.
You got a picture of his thumb, perhaps. Scholars okay. Oxford kept trying to do too much in attack, but did well to defend for 5 consecutive sets. Also amazing to see a goal line dropout from Oxford go 30 centimetres short of the length of the field. So
that must be
playing the wind. There you go.
That the Dr. Hideous was talking about. Yeah, Tim G also rounded things off actually with a bit more context to the occasion. He said, also, not sure why Scholars thought it was a good idea to put the heaters on in the dressing room, or why they couldn't organise the amateur game against Richmond to kick off at an earlier time so both could be enjoyed. Beforehand, we enjoyed the young Oxford Cavaliers under-16s play the Scholars under-16s. Cav showed big heart and worked well as a team, although Scholars deserved the win.
There you go. South Wales were defeated at home 0 points to 66 by Toronto in Merthyr.
Yeah, and in rain as well. Brian Davies said, tight first 20 or so, but then the try started to come for Toronto. The difference in the size of the players was massive, never mind the experience. Tied a little ground in Merthyr, but with another move on the cards for South Wales, you do wonder when they'll get off the bottom of the table. The losing culture must be embedded in the fabric of the club, yeah.
Okay, there you go. Close
one. The fabric of the club keeps getting rewoven, but it doesn't seem to be changing anything. I worry, which is a shame because there's been a production of players down there, and Wigan have benefited from it, Widnes have benefited from it, but that might be closing down.
Actually, I feel like they did alright to keep Toronto under 70 points.
Well,
to put it another way.
Maybe so, but I don't know if Toronto are fully putting it on the gas in the second half of games nowadays. And also,
another great result for Leigh.
Teams really do aim up early doors against them, and it is slowing down them getting off the board. They've been slow to get that rampant lead going in the last few games for a while now.
So not great in South Wales, but in North Wales it was a narrow defeat for the Crusaders, 24 points to 25 against Workington.
And Mark Butler got in touch to say, a blustery day in Wrexham that began with early carnage as Workington player went to the bin and Crusaders scored 3 tries. Workington were patient after this, gained dominance, and the half-time gap was just 4 points. Both sides had dominant second-half spells, Workington leading with back-to-back tries and Crusaders levelling. Workington won via a drop goal after a controversial penalty, and there was no time to respond.
There you go.
Okay. That's good context for that one.
Yeah, thank you very much. Coventry were 28 points to 24 winners over Dewsbury B. Doncaster got a 24-point draw at home against Barrowmark.
Before we talk about that, Hemel finishing within 4 points of any team
is great work.
Well done by them. Ethan O'Gorman said, you should have said this for game of the week. Doncaster fell behind inside 3 minutes and trailed 16-6 at half-time. Barrow kept pushing forward, but we got back into it with 16-12. Then Barrow pulled away, leading 24-18 with 10 minutes left. A try by Jason Tarley and a penalty with 30 seconds left gave Donny the point.
There you go. Pardon me, I was yawning. Not at Ethan, just because it's 10:15 at night and I'm a bit tired. Newcastle 36, Keighley Cougars 12 was another result. Whitehaven were 62 points to 6 winners over the Gloucestershire All Goals.
Yeah, Lee Randall said, didn't fancy the 9-hour round trip to Whitehaven, and it was the right call in the end. It would have been one hell of a drive home if I went today. Sounds like we got taught a lesson or two today. We got a massive game against Hemel next week, and we really need to get the points on the board if we're going to make the Shield final. Come on, you All Goals.
There you go. Final game of the weekend in League One saw Hunslet defeated 20 points to 52 by York City 9.
Yeah, Brian Davies was at this one. He said, was expecting a tight game. I got a walk in the park for York before they eased off and Hunslet scored a few in the second. Yeah, it was like another one of these point a minute for the first half hour game over situations, this one. Decent crowd and quite a few from York. Great to see our favourite Joe Batchelor get 2 tries for York. Got chatting to a Hunslet fan at the bus stop who couldn't see the point in Toronto. It's too far, he said. The RFL were against Hunslet too. I could see the wife thinking, go easy on him, Bry.
Yeah. It's ripe for parody sometimes, isn't it, rugby league?
Hunslet fans are some of the most entertaining out there.
They are, absolutely.
For certain.
In a number of ways. Entertaining to be around and listen to the songs about how much the 8 leads, and then entertaining if they put their tinfoil hats on about